Was YouTube Lethal, and today we're reacting to the value of support Mob Psycho, brought to us by Moody. You feel me? Now, I'm not gonna lie, Mob Psycho 100 is one of my favorite new gen animes, bro. It was so amazing from start to finish. And season 3, bro, is definitely my favorite season, bro. Bro, I love the show, bro. You feel me? But yeah, let's start into the show. Also, I will leave the link down below in the description. And yeah.
Or of friendship. Yes, that's what we're talking about today. A core theme of many anime you've seen over and over and over and over and over again. Don't get me wrong.
We will forever
some
see it, bro.
Can be done really well, like being used to show the importance of charisma or showing that violence isn't the end-all be-all to every conflict. And sometimes it can be done really badly. Fairy Tale. But Mob Psycho 100
She love
uses
Fairy
the
Tale.
theme in a refreshing way. In fact, the series takes the theme and transforms it into a different, more realistic message: the value of support. One of the reasons why Mob Psycho 100 is so well loved is the amazing writing it has.
Oh, he doing this for every season? That's fine.
Themes throughout the series. You see, it doesn't just fully flesh out a theme in one arc. Instead, it builds it up and keeps adding context to it. Let's analyze how it handles the theme of support throughout the story. Season 1 defines what support really is. Most of Season 2 shows how support affects someone, and the ending of Season 2 and the first half of Season 3 wraps up the previous arcs beautifully and has Mob become a supportive person himself.
Nah, bro. The way Mob grew as a character throughout the season, bro, I feel like it is very good, bro. Mob is a very good main character, in my opinion.
Mob Psycho 100 is a story all about change, and Mob becoming a supportive person is one of the changes he wants to make. So support is actually defined by the characters around Mob during Season 1. One of the best examples by far is the Body Improvement Club.
Yes.
I love these guys so much because of how much they defy expectations. We all know the stereotypes that come with buff guys in media. They're usually portrayed as dumb jackasses that
yeah,
no one likes.
meatheads.
You know what I'm talking about. The jock bully in high school, the oversized villain, the dumb muscle-headed guy, etc. I don't think I need to continue. This example isn't just limited to Western media though. Even in anime we see this trope in so many different series. The problem with this trope is that if you've ever been to a gym, you would know just how false it is. And
bro,
the body
gym bros, bro, you feel me? Now, I don't go to the gym, but what I hear and what I see online, but gym bros is like some of the best people, bruh. They just want the best for themselves and you, bruh. You feel me?
Club is a way more accurate representation. As Mob learns what hard work is, which is a theme that deserves its own video, so like and subscribe if you want to see that. They are there for Mob
I see that, hoe, bruh.
of the way. When Mob fails, the Body Improvement Club is there to pick him up. When Mob is in trouble, the Body Improvement Club immediately shows up to help. When Mob needs motivation, the Body Improvement Club hypes the hell out of him. The show uses them to define one of the core aspects of support: just being there for someone. As much as we'd all like support to be as simple as just being there, it's actually a bit more complicated than that. And Mob Psycho 100 actually does address that with probably its most popular character, Reagan. Now, it's interesting because Reagan is a liar, a scammer, a cheat, and a manipulator.
You feel me?
He's a good person.
He a good guy, man.
Mob is evidence of that. Reagan isn't just there for him, he guides Mob throughout his whole life, giving him advice when he needs it, calms him down when he's emotional, and even makes him feel safe when he's threatened. I think the relationship is best
He a good guy, man.
Season 1 finale. Mob and the gang are being attacked by the Claws. They feel like the only way they can win the battle is if Mob steps in, since he's easily the most powerful one there. All of them are constantly yelling at Mob to fight, even though Mob is someone who doesn't like violence.
He does not.
Mob is about to give in. Reagan grabs him and says, By telling Mob to run away, Reigen is actually telling Mob to rely on him. The show does a beautiful job of illustrating this, because in this moment, Mob transfers all of his powers over to Reigen, which is symbolic of Mob transferring all of his worries and responsibilities to Reigen for the moment. As I said
That's
before,
fire.
support is more than
I didn't really think too much on that, but yeah, he definitely is 100% right about that, man.
just being there for someone. It's also about sharing some of those problems and helping each other through them. After defining support in season 1, the show adds even more context to it by showing how important it is in season 2, and it's done by using Mob and his parallels. The first parallel of Mob is Mogami. Mogami had an amazing amount of psychic powers, Mob has an amazing amount of psychic powers. Mogami worked as an Esper, Mob works as an Esper. Mogami went unchallenged his whole life, Mob went unchallenged his whole life. The main difference between them is how they viewed the world. Mob viewed it in a naive way. He never
Granted, Mob is like 12, you know, so.
really acknowledged the dark parts of the world and how they affect people, since he was very privileged since birth. He had a family who cared about him, a mentor who helped him, and friends to keep him company. I mean, the main plot of the show up till this point was that Mob was too blessed because of his psychic powers and needed to struggle more. His life had led him to believe that the world was full of flowers and sunshine. Mogami, on the other hand, had a much more dark view on life.
Yeah.
He makes the case that there are people who are inherently evil and should be wiped out because of it. In fact, he shows that to Mob by wiping his memories and putting him in a world where he doesn't have psychic powers. In this world, Mob is consistently bullied, doesn't have a relationship with his brother, and is a nobody. The scary thing is, it's an accurate representation of what people would act like towards Mob if he wasn't special. And Mob proves Mogami right. When his bullies threatened to kill a cat he was taking care of and beat him up, Mogami finally returns Mob's psychic powers. And if Dimple hadn't intervened, he probably would have done some pretty bad things to those people. The result of this battle is pretty interesting though, because usually in anime and manga, this is where the main character says the bad guy is wrong, gives a speech, then
Right.
beats him up, and everyone lives happily ever after.
Right.
Mob takes a different approach. He acknowledges that what Mogami said is mostly true. There are people who are evil in this world, but Mob takes a different approach to them. Instead of wiping them out like Mogami suggests, they should be given a chance to change. Why? Because Mogami believes the reason he changed was because of the interactions he's had with the people around him, the advice he got from Reigen, the motivation he received from the Body Improvement Club, the love he gets from his family, the companionship from his friends. Mob was able to become who he was because of their support. It would be cruel not to extend those opportunities to other people. But the series doesn't just stop there when it comes to showing the importance of support.
What I love and hate about this dude's content is that I agree with him so much, bruh. You feel me? It's like I don't even need to say anything, bruh. Like, bruh, I'm trying to disagree, but like, bruh, he's just like
Expand
100%
on it
right.
even more through another Mob parallel, Serizawa. Serizawa, like Mob, was an incredibly talented antisocial esper as a kid, but unlike Mob, Serizawa never received proper mentorship at a young age, so he locked himself in his room because he was afraid of hurting people with his psychic powers. This persisted until he was 27 with terrible hygiene, emotionally underdeveloped,
He was a
and no
bum.
social life. At this moment, Suzuki stepped into his life and offered him support. But while Suzuki is a parallel of Reigen in terms of being mentor figures to Serizawa and Mob respectively, their mentorship styles are foils of each other. While Reigen does take advantage of Mob, he still lets and sometimes encourages Mob to make his own decisions while helping him grow as a person. Suzuki, on the other hand, completely takes advantage of Serizawa and probably prefers it if Serizawa doesn't grow so he can continue taking advantage of him.
Yeah.
This kind of support is extremely toxic because not only does it hinder growth, but it makes Serizawa completely reliant on Suzuki. The umbrella Suzuki gave Serizawa is a symbol of this. Serizawa, an extremely talented esper, is only able to use his powers through the use of that umbrella, a metaphor for
Dang.
Serizawa's inability to do anything without Suzuki. The series is saying that there is a form of fake or toxic support.
Nah.
僕のことを先に信頼してくれたのはエクボだったんだ。
I'm sick that his homies let him wear this shirt, bro. Like, bro, that drip was just like not it. Just like not a game.
Season 1 and most of Season 2 do a great job of continuously building up the theme of support, but the Season 2 finale and Season 3 wrap it up beautifully. They use all of the ideas throughout the series and showcase them through Mob himself by having him become a supportive person. The first case of Mob becoming a supportive person happens when he's fighting Suzuki. The reason they're going at it is because Suzuki is literally trying to take over the world and Mob is trying to stop him. Usually, Mob wouldn't resort to violence, but Mogami appeared again in the story and placed doubts in him. But there's also another layer to this conflict. Suzuki is the complete opposite of Mob when it comes to their views on support. His whole life, Suzuki had relied on himself. The only time he ever worked with others was to use them, and any person that wasn't
Hey,
useful was just a nuisance. He was the complete package. Mob, on the other
pause.
hand, believes people support each other by helping in areas they all lack. As it continues, their fight evolves from fighting for the fate of the world to pitting their ideologies against one another. Mob goes from trying to change Suzuki to having fun fighting him to trying to kill him because he can't change. Suzuki stays the same throughout the battle, but when Suzuki realizes he's going to lose, he decides to blow himself up using cursed energy. Mob is given two options. He can either run away and leave Suzuki for dead, hoping the explosion isn't big enough to kill everyone, or kill Suzuki, cutting off the energy source and stopping the explosion from happening in the first place. Mob returns to Suzuki, but it's not to kill him. Mob says something to Suzuki that inspires him to change his ways.
いくら嫌いな相手でもたった一人で苦しんでいるなんてやっぱりかわいそうだしだから助ける
This simple statement reminded Suzuki of his past with his wife and son and changed his whole worldview. It also is the first instance we get of Mob being a fully supportive person, because not only is he there for Suzuki, but he actually takes on his burden by absorbing his power. Mob's support is what gave Suzuki the chance to change. Even though the Season 2 finale is the first moment where Mob shows how supportive he can be, Season 3 is where Mob finally shows how much he's changed as a person. And being a reliable and supportive person is one of the traits he's come into. We see it in a lot of situations, like when he's empathetic towards Takenaka's struggles with supernatural powers, or when the rest of the Telepathy Cub literally call him a reliable guy. But I think the moment that stands out the most
The
is his
dimple?
confrontation with Dimple. To
Yes.
get the full context of this situation, you have to understand Dimple's history. Dimple started out as an evil spirit with grand ambitions. He wanted to create his own religion and be worshipped by all of humanity. But as soon as he met Mob, he realized it wouldn't be possible because of how powerful Mob was. So Dimple decided to just follow Mob around, waiting for the perfect moment to brainwash him. In the beginning of their relationship, Dimple doesn't understand Mob's dream at all. Why work hard when you can just use psychic powers to cheat your way through life? And Mob, to be frank, didn't care at all when Dimple supposedly died. But as the series goes on, they slowly warm up to each other. Mob begins to take Dimple's advice and even trust him to guard Mob's own body, while Dimple begins to help Mob with his fights and starts understanding why Mob believes in hard work. Their relationship hits a roadblock though. When Dimple finally sees his opportunity to take over the world using the Divine Tree, he tells Mob to join him, and finally they can take over the world together. Mob says
Right.
no, but it's
Yep.
not because world domination is bad or using his powers to his advantage goes against everything built during the last two seasons. It's because he wants to take over the world himself. Dimple gets hurt by what Mob says and leaves to go through with his plan himself. After he brainwashes all of Mob's friends, Mob finally decides to confront Dimple. When they finally see each other, the two just have a shouting match while fighting. They're not trying to understand. They're trying to win. But when
Yeah.
Dimple gives Mob his honest
They're not talking to 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 understand each other. They're just talking to what was the saying people be
opinion on his shirt,
I said a
everyone
freaking
else
brain fart.
avoided doing. Mob realizes Dimple always had Mob's best interest at heart, so he disperses all of his built up energy. Mob doing this was a sign of his willingness to have a conversation. Mob realizes through Dimple's words that he wasn't there for him. Instead of supporting Dimple by joining him and taking over the world, crazy that would be the right thing to do, or even just convincing him not to by having a valid reason, he let the success he was experiencing get to his head and hurt one of his first and closest friends. And he wasn't going to repeat the same mistake. This is the growth that Mob experiences. The ability to see when someone needs support, and more importantly, the ability to give it. Not only does it solve the problem,
Dimple was there to support Mob after the
but
fact.
it made Dimple realize that more than the followers, more than the power, and more than the world itself, he wanted a friend to support him. This simple action has so much power. It can motivate people to improve their lives, lift weights off of people's shoulders, completely shape the way someone's life turns out, turn around a negative worldview, and most importantly, inspire change. That is the value of support in Mob Psycho 100.
This was a beautiful video. I'm glad Mob is finally getting recognition it deserves. I start knowing them and tackling the power of friendship the way Mob did. They did it pretty much perfectly, bro. You feel me? Great video. I love how you know the themes of Mob Psycho. Sure, the power of friendship is often theme and shown in anime, but MP Mob Psycho explores the idea as a support system. People support Mob, and in turn, he can stand up and be capable of supporting others, finding a meaning of self-improvement beyond just the physical. Man, this is a fantastic video. I want to see more Mob Psycho praise, bruh. You feel me? I don't be seeing enough of it on the internet. You feel me? Now, I ain't talked that much in this vid because there really wasn't nothing for me to add on. He pretty much nailed everything. You feel me? So yeah, shout out to Moody. This should definitely have way more views. But yeah, that's my opinion though. But yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you have a blessed day and peace.
Then she gon' pull out the tape and tie me up, then lock me away. That bitch, she said that she hate me. I am not phased, my niggas waiting at your place. For all this shit escalate, I need to know how many niggas you've played. How did you take off your tape? She looking right at me and she swerves into the lake.